Hello, it's Graham Norris here with EXP Realty, and it's coffee with Graham time. That's good. Well, it's the last day of June today. We're completing the first half of 2020, and quite some year it's been so far, hasn't it? And I didn't get much sleep last night with the storm, quite a storm we had here. It's made everything fresh and green. But today I thought I'd talk about getting your finances right, and let me start off by saying I'm absolutely no expert at all. In fact, I still feel that I'm very much on a journey of finding the right way of doing things. And there's plenty of advice out there. If you look, all sorts of gurus want to give you their penny's worth, if you'll excuse the pun. But there's various sectors we've got to get right. Definitely credit is a big area to get right. And as a real estate agent, over the years I've learned a lot about credit and how important it is to keep your credit score up. And there's a good number of ways of doing that. Of course, it's just making sure that you don't over leverage. In other words, have too many credit cards and put yourself into too much debt. The ideal debt to income ratio on that is about 33%, but anything going less is better than going more. And if you can raise your credit limit, that means you're more credit worthy, and it's generally a good thing as long as you don't load that credit limit up. A number of other things that you can do with credit if you find your score isn't quite up to par is to get any negative remarks removed from your credit report. That way you can your score should go up, and you can simply write a letter for them to remove it, like a gentleman's agreement if it's valid. If it's not, then of course ask them to challenge it and get it removed. And another big area of finance I was thinking is where to invest the extra dollars you may have each month. And you should always have extra dollars. You should, in fact, think about it. A while back I read The Richest Man in Babylon, and if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend you read it. It gives you a good idea on how to manage your finances, because really it's not about how much you make, it's how you manage what you make that's most important. And one of the principles in Richest Man in Babylon is putting away 10%, paying yourself at least 10%, putting that away in savings, and then a certain portion of your income to be working in some way. And think of Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about acquiring assets. So you start a residual income flow. For example, a certain plan might be put 10% of whatever you make into an account, and with that money, when you've accumulated enough money, you could buy an investment property and rent it out, or buy fix and flip, or do something like that with real estate, and that would multiply your dollars. That's one of the things he's talking about, making your dollars work for you. The other way of managing is large ticket items, like your house. Always be monitoring that, see if you can get a better deal. Obviously you can't do that too frequently because of the closing costs and things, but be aware of that. If you've been in your house anything over 2 years now, in fact, it may be worth reviewing and seeing if you can get a lower interest rate. Car, I highly recommend that you don't borrow money for a car, because they depreciate faster than you can pay it off. Investing money in other areas like stock market, if you go to an IRA or a Roth IRA any retirement plans, then certainly it's a good idea to put some money at risk in the stock market. Do plenty of research on that. It's very easy to lose money on the stock market as well as make it. Right now the stock market is very buoyant, really because of all the government stimulus plans that have gone into effect. That's had a very positive effect, I think, on the economy. It is falsely propped up, so of course when that goes away then we might see some sort of correction, so we always have to be aware of that. With all of these ways of managing, that's exactly what you need to do, is to manage your finances. And then the household expenses, the monthly bills, it's always good to review those to check and see if you're can get a better deal, especially with telephones, internet, that sort of thing. You'd be surprised if you give them a call how much you can get knocked off your bill just by giving them a call. So if you haven't tried that for a while, do that. And then your utilities, of course, keep an eye on those. These days you can get all sorts of energy efficiency devices that would reduce your bill. Now here in Knoxville you can pay both county and city tax if your house is in the wrong place, as it were. or you could move to a house that's just county. That'll cut your housing tax bill in half at least. I remember we lived right on the border once and we didn't look at that when we moved house, but that's certainly something to look at. You know, the house next door might be in the county. It would save you a lot of money, so take that into account. Sort of assets you can buy. So if you have any questions about any of this or would like to offer some tips, certainly put them in the comments below this video. I'll be delighted to read your contribution. Want to call me anytime and talk about things, certainly call me on 865-405-7947. That's 865-405-7947. We'll talk to you soon.